Your eyes open long before sunrise. The air is thick with the smell of damp straw, smoke, and sweat. Something cold bites into your wrists. You try to move. A heavy iron chain rattles across the stone floor. Around you, dozens of frightened strangers sit in silence. Some stare at the ground. Some quietly wipe away tears. Nobody dares to speak. Then, the wooden door creaks open. Torchlight floods the dark room. A man steps inside and points directly at you. You don't know his name, but in a few moments, your entire life will belong to him. Welcome to ancient Rome. Today you are a slave. Forget everything you've seen in movies. Roman slavery wasn't one single story. Some enslaved people worked in luxurious villas. Others spent their lives deep inside dangerous mines. Some eventually earned their freedom. Millions never did. Your fate depends on one thing: who buys you today? And by the end of this journey, you'll discover that Roman slavery was far more complex and far more human than most people imagine. Day 1, the market. The morning sun rises over a crowded Roman marketplace. Merchants shout over one another. Donkeys pull heavy wooden carts through dusty streets. The smell of fresh bread mixes with livestock, leather, and smoke from nearby cooking fires. You're pushed onto a raised wooden platform. Iron chains hang from your wrists. Hundreds of curious eyes study every movement you make. A trader walks around you slowly. He checks your arms, your shoulders, your teeth, even your hands. To him, you're not a person, you're an investment. Around you stand men, women, and children from every corner of the Roman world. Some were captured during wars. Others were born into slavery. Some were taken by pirates. A few were abandoned as infants and later sold into bondage. Every face tells a different story. Yet today, everyone shares the same uncertain future. A wealthy Roman steps closer. His white toga is spotless. A gold ring catches the morning sunlight. He doesn't ask your name. Instead, he asks only 2 questions. How old? And can this one work? The trader nods confidently. A small leather pouch changes hands. The deal is finished in seconds. Without warning, someone unlocks your chain from the auction platform and locks it to your new owner's cart. Just like that, your old life is over. You don't know where you're going. You don't know what work awaits you. You don't even know if you'll survive the week. But the road stretching out before you leads to a place where every sunrise will begin with someone else's command. And this is only your first day. Your new life begins. The journey feels endless. The wheels of the wooden cart groan over the rough Roman road. Your wrists ache beneath the iron shackles. No one speaks. The only sounds are the horses, the rattling chains, and the distant cries of birds circling overhead. Hours later, the cart finally stops. Before you stands a sprawling Roman villa surrounded by vineyards and olive trees. White stone walls glow beneath the afternoon sun. Dozens of workers are already moving through the fields. Some carry baskets overflowing with grapes. Others push heavy wooden carts loaded with grain. A stern man steps forward. His face is weathered from years beneath the sun. This one works the fields, your owner says without even looking at you. The overseer nods. To them, you are no different from another tool. That evening, someone hands you a rough wool tunic. Your old clothes are taken away. There is no ceremony, no explanation. Even your name no longer matters. Many enslaved people were renamed by their owners, a reminder that they no longer controlled their own identity. Your new life begins with silence. As darkness settles across the estate, you're led to a long wooden barrack. Inside, rows of straw mattresses cover the floor. Oil lamps cast weak, flickering light across tired faces. Some workers quietly eat. Others simply stare into space. A man sitting beside you breaks a small loaf of coarse bread in half. Without saying a word, he offers you a piece. For the first time today, someone sees you as a human being. He introduces himself. I was a farmer. Another man whispers from the corner. I was a soldier. An older woman gently smiles. I don't even remember my village anymore. Only then do you realize something. Almost nobody here was born expecting this life. Every person carries a story that ended with chains. Before sunrise the next morning, a loud bell echoes across the estate. Everyone rises immediately. There is no choice. Breakfast is simple: a piece of bread, a bowl of porridge, a few olives, water mixed with a little wine, just enough to keep you working. Luxury was for your owner. Survival was for you. The work begins. The Roman sun climbs higher. Heat shimmers across the fields. Your hands, soft only yesterday, begin to blister as you cut vines and carry heavy baskets. Dust sticks to your skin. Sweat burns your eyes. Every muscle screams for rest, but nobody stops. Because everyone knows what happens if you fall behind. Around midday, a young worker accidentally drops a basket filled with freshly harvested grapes. The overseer storms toward him, everyone freezes. The silence is heavier than the summer air. The punishment comes quickly. Not because Rome had one universal rule for every estate, but because this owner ruled through fear. The young man is struck several times with a whip. No one moves. No one dares to help. A few moments later, the work continues as if nothing happened. And that's perhaps the most frightening part. Life doesn't stop. As the sun finally disappears beyond the hills, you collapse onto your straw mattress. Every part of your body aches. Tomorrow will be the same. And the day after that, unless something changes, but tomorrow, you're about to discover a secret that almost every movie gets wrong. Not every Roman slave lived like this. Some held positions of remarkable trust. Some managed fortunes. Some educated the children of the wealthiest families in the empire. And a few, against all odds, earned their freedom. Hope, or another illusion, the next morning. You wake before the bell, not because you've rested, because your body already knows what is coming. The pain in your shoulders hasn't faded. Your hands are covered with fresh blisters. Even lifting the wooden bucket feels heavier than yesterday. As the days pass, you begin noticing something strange. Not every slave disappears into the fields. Some walk freely through the villa. One carries scrolls instead of tools. Another keeps records of grain and silver. An elderly man teaches children to read and write in both Greek and Latin. For a moment, you wonder if they're truly slaves at all. But they are. Roman slavery wasn't one single life. It was an enormous system that stretched across the empire. Some enslaved people spent their days breaking stones beneath the earth. Others became accountants, doctors, craftsmen, secretaries, or trusted managers responsible for fortunes worth more than entire villages. Your future depended less on one universal rule, and more on where fate had placed you. One evening, as the sun sinks behind the vineyards, the older man who shared his bread with you quietly sits beside the fire. He notices the questions on your face. You think this is forever, he whispers. It might not be. You stare at him in disbelief. He slowly rolls up his sleeve. Burned into his arm is an old slave mark. Then he reaches into his tunic. Around his neck hangs a small bronze pendant. I bought this after I earned my freedom. Your heart races freedom? He nods. In Rome, some masters freed loyal servants. Some rewarded skilled workers. Some granted freedom in their wills. And a few slaves managed to save small amounts of money with their master's permission. For the first time since arriving, hope enters your mind. Not everyone escaped, far from it. Millions remained enslaved for life. But the possibility of freedom, however small, was real for some. Days turn into weeks, weeks become months. You learn the rhythms of the estate. You remember which vines need water first, which animals kick, which overseer loses his temper, which workers can be trusted. You survive, not because life becomes easy, but because you learn how to endure. That more than strength and becomes your greatest skill. But then, history reminds you of something impossible to ignore. Across the Roman Empire, millions of people shared your fate. Children, women, scholars, farmers, soldiers captured in war, entire families separated forever. Some never saw their homes again. Some never even remembered where they came from. Slavery wasn't a small part of Roman society. It helped power its farms, its workshops, its households, and even its greatest cities. The magnificent temples, the paved roads, the luxurious villas admired by travelers today, were built in a world where countless enslaved people had no control over their own lives. So could you survive as a Roman slave? Perhaps could you choose that life? Never, and that's the difference. History isn't only about emperors and victories. Sometimes it's about ordinary people who had no choice at all. The next time you see the towering ruins of ancient Rome, don't just imagine senators in white togas or victorious generals marching through the streets. Remember the hands that harvested the grain, the feet that walked barefoot across scorching fields, the voices history rarely recorded. Because behind every great empire were millions of ordinary lives, and that made it possible. You survived, but only just. And the next time you open your eyes, you won't wake up in a Roman villa. You'll wake beneath the shadow of Mount Vesuvius, just days before one of history's most famous disasters. Would you survive Pompeii? We'll find out next time.